I came to Newfoundland basically for education, and I had zero plan to settle here. When I came, there was nothing like that. I was just coming through for my school and then go back.
I always like to be super honest because it doesn't was great first and was really hard. I have many rejection in many organizations because I didn't was a permanent resident.
So when I got visa, I was living in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, and the only thing I knew about Canada was only Vancouver and Toronto, you know, that big city. So we're gonna live in St. John's, Newfoundland. I was quite scared because I never heard about it, right?
I only found out more about Newfoundland and was interested in it after I started doing research. So I started doing research online and I saw all these videos, I saw the pictures, and it seemed like the kind of place that I've always wanted to experience life in.
I've been here for 7 years now. Yeah, I first came here in late 2015 for my PhD study, and now I graduated, so I chose to stay here. Yeah, so Newfoundland is my new home.
When I first moved here, there was a lot of anxieties about this is a small town, this is a small city. I've never been there before. How is this all going to work out? But no, I found I was a very good fit around here, and Newfoundland has been a great time. It's been very cold, but
a lot of times when people are coming to Canada, they don't know anything about Newfoundland, so it's not hard to see that it's a little bit scary sometimes because they're going to a place that they know nothing about. And if they do a little bit of research, a lot of the times the research involves things that are written about Newfoundland by people that have never been to Newfoundland. And you see Newfie jokes and you see a lot of negative stuff. Some people need a big city, but in my opinion, the only big cities in Canada, or truly big cities, would be Toronto, Montreal, and kind of Vancouver. St. John's is the biggest city in Newfoundland, and even by Canadian standards, it's a small city.
My stay in Newfoundland, almost 6 years, I have encountered a lot of people, and I can say with confidence in the general sense that so many good people are around here, people who are genuinely and willing to help, people who want to see you succeed, and people who are always open for ideas.
Yeah, I've been enjoying my life here so much. I mean, especially for the music part. You know, when I was in China, I did my music training mostly in the classic, music system. And here, I've been playing with different musicians. I've been in the rock band and playing with Western orchestra and in the cultural ensemble, that kind of thing. So I never imagined I could do this much stuff when I was in China. So this journey has been so wonderful for me. I feel like I'm exploring a new self, and also with my music, it's totally a new adventure for me.
Well, two things were surprising, right? I knew that it was very cold in Newfoundland. I knew that it was windy, but I had never experienced the winter. So when we moved here, and the first year was Nomageddon, it was very, very interesting. And I was very, wow, so this is how it feels to live here. Although I had seen it, I had never experienced it. And when you experience it, it's real, it's not like a picture. But I think my greatest surprise was the amount of talented and very nice people that we met here. So people were surprisingly nice, and I'm not just saying it, everywhere you go, most people are nice. But I think people here in Newfoundland and in Canada in general, they appreciate new cultures, they appreciate different ideas. In our case, people appreciate the Brazilian influence in our music. They like to listen to Brazilian music, they are curious. But the amount of talented musicians here in St. John's was a big surprise for me.
So I searched some places about Newfoundland, about the histories, because I love snow, and I really want to come here and see the snow. So my first impression when I landed, I was like, wow, so fresh, so clean, and the house is so beautiful, different. I felt like I'm in a movie. Then the first time I saw snow, I was playing and around. Was really good impression. Then I was like, wow, I'm here. Would you like St. John's? I say, I love St. John's. It's a really cool city. It's really good. So that's it. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy, really happy.
In the time when I didn't like it, Newfoundland, I start to like it when I feel myself. When I feel that I don't need to prove my value, I don't need to show my value. People recognize my value. And that make me feel at home. That made me feel that I have one reason to be here, that is for help others, But I think and many things change in these 7 years to me, and the diversity, the amount of communities that you can see today. I can speak Spanish and somebody else could be speaking Spanish and you will meet another Latin person. I think Newfoundlanders and Labradorians are so receptive also to embrace this diversity. And so again, I think it's the best place for make business.
I'm grateful. I've met amazing people around here. I've learned very great lessons, and I've grown a whole lot as a person. I've really loved it around here. Everyone's super nice. I've met a lot of amazing people, from co-workers, even the guests that I serve. It's been amazing, because you get to see different sides of the world. You get to hear stories from all over the world, and they have been nothing but very supportive of everything that I do, which means a lot to me.
And then when I went to school, everybody that sees you, you don't know them from nowhere, but they are open to chat. They ask you how you doing, how's the weather. That's the open line. Everybody asks you how's the weather and all that. So in fact, it was something. Even at the early stages, I was a bit worried. So I had to ask my roommate, bro, I find this so weird. Why is everybody smiling at you? It's a bit fake, right? Because I wasn't used to that. But over time, I realized that's the culture here. People are well receiving, very accepting, and easy to get along with.
I'm so glad I can bring my instrument here and share this music culture, Chinese music culture, in this country, on this island, with these beautiful people here.
I think that if you're coming to Canada, or in particular Newfoundland, one thing that you should try to do, if you can, is try to meet people that live here and go to places where the locals are, because often it's easy for a newcomer to feel out of place when you are in a new town, in a new country. But my experience here is that if you go out and you go where people are and meet other people here, you will feel much more at home. I think that makes all the difference when you're adapting to a place. Go out and try to meet people. Don't talk only to people from your own country. Try to meet people from different countries. Try to meet people from Newfoundland. That will make your experience much, much livelier, I guess, much better.
I start from the scratch. Sewing at home with a domestic sewing machine. Today I have a corporate business, full staff, industrial machines, selling. I will travel to Ontario to go to wholesales and learn and trade shows. So that kind of help happened in Newfoundland. That support about the business comes from the community of Newfoundland and Labrador. So it's a perfect place to start a business. I always say that if I will start this in Toronto, I know this will be the same, because the help, the reception of people, it is I cannot tell you how it is. It's Newfoundland and Labrador. It's just that.
There's a whole lot of strangers that are going to be family, a lot of strangers that are going to be friends, a lot of strangers that are going to be opportunities, really. There's a lot of people rooting for you around. Everyone likes to go with the mentality of having haters or that type of thing, but there's a lot more people rooting for you to be able to kind of make it, or like, even the opportunity or the platform to do so. Give it time. Nothing is going to be easy, but like, I've met lots of awesome people. I've worked for lots of awesome companies. I've been able to find my own company. So I'd say there's a lot of opportunity to be exploited around, and it's many forms.
I'm not going to paint the picture of the province as this promised land where everything is easy and there's good and bad with anywhere that you will go, and Newfoundland is no exception. But it seems to me that there's much more bad information out there that highlights the negative, that highlights the difficulties. I'm not trying to hide them. You're going to have ups and downs. There's going to be easy ways and hard ways to do whatever you need to do in your life, wherever you end up going. But it seems to me like the picture that's painted of Newfoundland right now is that it's all struggle, and that needs to change.
I just feel like this is such a magic island, like magic country, magic land. I really want to be there to explore music, more music possibilities. So here I am.